Dutrow, when you came up with the idea for Focus, what problem were you trying to solve?
Well, the school where I was teaching had a very traditional basis, a lot of prescribed learning, a lot of worksheets, a lot of memorization, a lot of tests, and a lot of quizzes. And there was no real chance for the students to express themselves individually or to track down their own passions or discover what makes them tick as students. And I thought that we needed to change that a bit and let students have more voice and choice in their education.
And where I was coming from, my admin team was very, kind of strict with not letting me change, the way my classroom was set up, the individualized desks. Yes, they work to an extent, but I think, if we want our students to collaborate and to kind of become, that buzzword 21st century learners, then they need to have areas where they're able to work with their peers and not just force a bunch of desks together and call that collaboration.
But at Focus, that part about 21st century learning isn't just a buzzword, it's something that you really want to make real. So, how do you do that?
Exactly. We want to make each student responsible for his or her own learning. So we give the students the freedom to direct their own paths. They come up with the curriculum that they want to pursue based on a passion or an interest of theirs. And our teachers, instead of going up and handing out a worksheet or teaching from the front of the classroom, they will help the student find the best ways to get to his or her goals. So it's a much more mentor based, facilitator based system that we use here.
Yeah, and we wanted to revolutionize, the way that our students saw the curriculum. One of the main challenges, I saw from state mandated curriculum was that, they were focused on your typical, I'll use fifth grade as an example, your typical fifth grader, things that they should know. And, as educators, it's clear to see that, not all of your students are always going to be on the same level.
Little Billy's always been good at football, but he struggled with academics, and we felt like at the bigger schools he was just getting lost and didn't have anybody he could go to for help with his work. And when his highest grade was shorter than his longest run on the football field, we knew we had a problem. And that's when we brought him to Focus. And with the smaller environment and the teachers who really get to know the kids, he's really been doing well, and it's just been incredible. We're very pleased and very proud.
When my son was in public school, I just felt like they were taking so many assessments. There were national assessments, state assessments, class-based assessments, and they were all just students regurgitating the knowledge that they had memorized, if that. And it bothered me. I didn't feel like he was learning for a purpose. I didn't feel like he was really reaching his potential, because he's not somebody who just memorizes facts all the time. When I sent him to Focus Academy, though, things really turned around. Focus Academy works on applying knowledge and making sure that those assessments are real and valued and students are engaged in what they're learning. They're applying these facts and the content that they're learning to real life examples and to real world scenarios. And it's just so much more meaningful, and I feel like my son can take that knowledge and spread it everywhere because of this.
So when you let the students help craft the curriculum around their interests, how do you still make sure that important topics like fractions that everybody's going to need to know in their life still get covered? What if a student comes to you and says, I hate fractions, I don't want to learn about fractions, I've never been able to do them? How do you handle that as a teacher and do both things at the same time?
So I think it's very important for students to have a choice and a voice as to how they want to learn their curriculum. It can be anywhere from math, as you mentioned, with fractions, to ELA, science, social studies, what have you. But I think it's important, because not all students learn the same way. Not all students are going to learn best by listening to a lecture, listening to a teacher at the front of the room saying, okay, this is the kind of things that you need to know. Make sure you write it down. So I think it's important for students to be engaged in the lesson by, if they're saying, I'm struggling with fractions, why is this relevant to me? I think, as an educator, it'd be easy to say, okay, well then let's have this conversation. When are you going to see fractions in real life? How are you going to engage with them in real life? So even if it's just kind of like a short, having the students, bring a cooking class to school. You're bringing fractions to real life because they're going to have to use it in recipes and read recipes and all of that stuff. So I think it's important to have them engaged in that conversation and kind of have that choice and that voice, to see how they want to play out the rest of the curriculum.
I agree. And in every single passion project these students engage in, they're going to have to use their imagination a bit, but they're going to find that every subject is going to be involved with these projects. If they want to do something where they're writing a cookbook, well, they're also going to have to study economics and see how to actually publish this and get it on shelves in a bookstore and use the fractions as you suggested to make the recipes themselves. So there's a lot that we can put into every single project. So we're not, ignoring or negating the importance of these common bits of information that every student needs to know. We're just including them in their personal paths.
At my old schools, there were always desks and rows and crowded classrooms, and my students didn't have their personal space to be creative. So, when I heard about Focus Academy, I was eager to jump on the opportunity to join the team.
So you might be wondering, what does learning look like at Focus Academy and what sets us apart from other schools? Well, when we founded Focus Academy, we had one goal at the heart of everything we do, our students. And we want each student's experience to be different from every other student's. We have open, inviting, customizable spaces to help students reach their full potential outside of a traditional classroom setting. We have an individualized curriculum where teachers act as facilitators and guides rather than sages on the stage, and each student self-directs his or her own learning. We use a problem-based learning model to help each student apply their gifts, their talents, to real-world issues. And finally, each student in their senior year will experience a culminating activity that will show what they've learned over their 4 years at Focus Academy and present this to panels of experts from around the globe.
When David came to us with his idea for a school, we knew it was going to be an incredible project to be a part of, and we were trying to figure out how could we make this space as innovative as the teachers and the students that were going to be inside of it. And we knew we wanted open spaces, flexible classrooms that weren't just rows of desks, and we wanted wide open spaces that would inspire the students to do their best and inspire the teachers to meet that challenge and bring those students forward even more. We have state-of-the-art auditorium, even a live TV studio inside the school, and every space is designed to maximize the potential of the students and what they're supposed to be learning in that space. We even have what we call a genius bar where the kids can eat, which I thought was rather clever.
Here at Focus Academy, we try to truly make sure that our students are the center and the focus of their education. We make sure that their space is a creative, dynamic, mobile, and safe place for them to be. The place, the classroom, the school, their environment, it has to honor their culture and their history. If students are not engaged, they're not going to care. And if they feel like they're not valued as a student and as a person, they're not going to be engaged in what they're doing. It has to drive their enthusiasm and it has to drive their curiosity. If students aren't curious about what they're learning, they're not going to give you their best work. It also has to reflect their needs. How are we best serving our students in a way that makes them successful for the future? Next, voice. Student voice is incredibly important, especially when it comes to student-centered education. They should be able to take part in, what they're learning about, how they want to be assessed, what products can they develop instead of writing pencil and paper assessments and things like that. Last, student choice. They have to have choice in, the who they want to view their work. How are they going to do their work? And I think that all of these things put together will drive student-centered education, and it will help our students propel themselves into the future.
Small group instruction is a core part of what we do. We want to make sure that each student has individualized attention from each of our teachers, and with small group sizes, we're able to pull that off.
One of our educational goals at Focus Academy is to teach students to be self-directed. Sixth graders have a slightly more structured schedule than 12th graders who engage in a culminating project that affects positive change in the local, national, or global community.
and we've gotten tons of incredible support from our parents in this program.
So to me, it's everything that I do on my day-to-day job. I think it's a real slice of real life, and it teaches the kids in a real advanced, sophisticated way a variety of different skills. Just the team building and the collaboration aspects of it alone, but then you add the innovation, you add the real social science elements to it, you add the research and the constant evaluation of your hypotheses and your data analysis. It's a real combination of things that they need for every stage of their life, no matter what they do.
I really like this school, especially because everyone is so friendly and the teachers care about you. And learning is fun because they relate it to what you're really interested in. And we get to work on a lot of cool projects that we can design ourselves.
And they use teachers as facilitators rather than, damn it, I need another word. I was doing so
You were doing
that
great.
was it. From around the globe. That last line was probably the cheesiest. I ran out of words again, but
All right, so let's just do a test and make sure that this actually does what we want it to do.
Part of it because, as educators, I think we have so many ideas that we.
I don't even know where I came from.
That was just so good.
So then at Focus Academy, totally forgot what I was going to say. All right.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
But that 21st.
Turn
Wow.
around and ask the question. Turn around and ask the
Well,
question.
I want to. But that 21st.
Wow.
All right.
I see why you guys were gone so long.
Well- But at Focus, that 21st.
That was you that time.
It was.
okay. All right. Take 8. All right.
Okay, we can still keep going with this one. I'm good. Oh, hold on. That was gross.
The curriculum plans not only, kind of individualizes in. Damn it.
Indulge.